I don't. Good evening, good afternoon. It's in the evening. Get this right when I'm. Hi, everyone. Greetings, greetings, greetings. Thank God that we're alive in this afternoon, this rainy day for most of us in New York City, Bronx, New York, live to talk to my loved ones. Okay, so the name of the title, I don't know if y'all can see it. It's called Stand Up. Stand up and stand out. Why? Because that's what God children, that's what we're supposed to do. Stand up and stand out. He never told us to stand up or sit down and shut up. He told us to be loud and proud. Proud. I want to give thanks to the Lord before I start. And praise for all of us on every side. I thank you, my gracious God. I call out to you, the Most High. To your trusted one, you my only one, my bestest friend, my everything, my all-in-one. That's what he is to all of us. That's what we say. He's our everything, right? I thank you for every side, for all the help my ancestors, ancient, all the way back and from the beginning of time. I thank God from every side for protection that's watching me far and wide, above the earth, under the earth, in the waters. I'm connected to everything that God touches with his power and might, that he watches over his children, he watches over this one. I thank God for protection and favor. Oh Lord, I ask you to rebuke and cancel and purify me from all evil eyes, from evil tongues and lying lips and backwards broken brains. I ask you, Lord, to cancel and to purify and burn, disintegrate, eradicate. Let all evilness that comes against me in the collectives, into all my loved ones I'm speaking to, all your chosen, all your children. Protect us from all evil spirits, from all evil sides, from every side. I ask you for your grace and your serenity to speak with authority, that nothing and no one and no weapon that forms against me or any of us that's doing your will and your works, Lord, shall come against us in your only and your powerful name. And I thank you, Lord, for all your protection. My ancestors, grandparents, everybody that's watching over me, that's over me right at this hour and at this second, I thank you. And I greet you in peace. Ashe. Ashe. Now, being that I said that, the last time I said I was going to read the Bible, I didn't, but I still explained what I wanted to say. Before I get into that, it was Romans, actually, that I wanted to read, because I was talking about, well, the whole thing is about standing up. You know what that means? It's not just standing up with our legs and we could just walk to the stores and we could just do everything because we could just walk, because that's what you do when you stand up, or you're just standing around and you're just looking. That's not what I mean. I'm talking about stand for something. When we came in this world, we didn't know. We was lost for a lot of things. We didn't know. That, when I'm saying we, it's our parents. So for people or persons, I'm going to say people, okay? That's every color. It doesn't matter. Your race. Our race is not a color. It's our ethnicity. How you say it? Ethnicity. Right. It's just our background, where we come from. So I'm saying, why I say that is to have a purpose. And if we don't have a purpose, when you come in to the age of reason, when you can start taking care of yourself, when you don't need your parents. Some people did it earlier at a younger age because their lifestyle and their situation required for them to do something, to do some things to take care of themselves at an earlier age. So you got some that started at 13. You might hear some stories. 16. Oh, I moved out. I was taking care of myself since I was 16. 17, you might hear 18. But the earliest, and some do it a little earlier, but they don't get to move out. They just take on a lot of early responsibilities at the age of 8, 9. So you will hear some of these stories. So you can understand why God used some of us in a certain way. The more responsibility you have and you're young, it's not, oh, that child shouldn't, they shouldn't, but you got to, it just got to follow along why and what is happening and what positions you're playing in life so you can see why you're made for such a purpose in this life. If we don't understand some of the things and pay attention to the patterns, to the cycles that you that the Lord presents you with in this life. So when we don't when we don't actually pay attention to some things in this life, then we can get lost as a people. And you can't blame. This is for the reason why I say that. I'm saying that to say this, because I hear young people blame the people of the past that's not here for the generation that is happening right now. Why that don't make why we should not blame the people that came before us and say they messed it up. If they would have been on point, or if they didn't do certain things, it wouldn't affect our time here. Well, think about it. In your life, when you go back and you do something, even if it was a few seconds ago, and you drop something or you just spoke something, whatever we say, we can apologize for something, but we can't actually take it back if you do something. Now, the things that we can't take back, sometimes, in most cases, you can take back your clothes, you can exchange some things, but when it's come with words or action, those things you can't take back. You can apologize for them, or you can keep it because you meant what you said. Either way, you're not trying to retract it, but it doesn't matter the case. You cannot go back and erase an action of something already happened and is done. You can't redo it. You can't act like it didn't happen. It's over. Only thing you got, this is what all of us got. This is a everybody and everyone type of thing as a species of humans. We're not talking about animals and nothing else. We're talking about it's the same for us beings, right? That means we have the ability to move on. You cannot go back in the past and change anything. Only thing you could do is correct moving forward. So don't blame our ancestors for some of us that understand who they are. Everyone, whether we are woken to it or have knowledge of it. And you don't believe in spirituality, I don't believe in Enoch, or you know a little bit, you heard a little bit, Mesopotamian or whatever it is, right? I'm not going deep into that. What I'm going to say is every last one of us, unknown and unknown, for the unknowns I'm talking to, because a lot of us don't believe that spirituality is your God conscious self. It is not something that you put on a shelf. It's not something that is made up. It was something that the world. Pardon me if y'all hear this in the background. Okay. So I'm gonna just push through it because I don't know how long it's gonna last, when it's gonna leave. So I'm just trying to talk as loud as I can so you can hear me. All right, so here I go. The principle of life, we are all spirit beings. We are all spirits. We are all. How could we not be? If Jesus came down and he was talking to God, right? Don't worry about the order of how they said it. Some things is accurate. The order is truth mixed with the lies, but I know how to decipher, how to determine, or how to find out whatever. But I'm going to say for overall, that is the same order of how we got here. If Jesus came down and he had to be birthed in the physical form to come through the birth canal of who? A woman. So, women, pay attention to why. Young ladies, people on every side, is only two spirits that ever existed from the beginning of time to the end of time. That is no end. Okay? So pay attention so you can find out which spirit are you, so you can understand what part you play and why you playing your role and where your role is going to lead you. And if you had a chance to change, you can. The Lord don't say we can't change. What happens is, well, I'm explaining that, but let me just, we are all spirit beings. The same way. Why is that? How is that possible? Because we all came through the birth canal of a woman. So we all have a mother. Whether some is artificially inseminated or however that go. Either way, you got to come out through the birth canal. Now, some people do stuff that is not. If the sperm from a man been saved and is implanted, you okay. Is that the natural way? Why is that way? Everybody got something different, or why they want to do certain things in this life? Because why? Because life is about pushing through limits past the beyond of your own imagination and against physics that school cannot teach you. You will have to be your own school. Pay attention, because you need to be your own teacher. You have to be your own student first. Now, your student, you have to be a student. That means that we're willing to learn. Now, we got a lot of people that's not willing to learn. And a lot of things that I may say may not make sense to certain ones. But certain ones that it doesn't make sense with, and you don't agree, and say, well, I don't agree with that. I don't get into that. I don't believe in that. Then don't believe it. Do yourself a favor. Go and research or listen to other people that talk the same. Because everybody can't be crazy. If we talking the same thing, we talking about our spirituality, whether it's doing tarot or whether you are a reader and whether we psychic. Let me tell you something. That is not a curse. I don't care what the Bible said about it. Some things, not everything. Okay? Because don't say God wrote the Bible. He did not. What he did was, this is how this go. In order for anything to be a history, you got to do an action. And then somebody write it down, because they saw an action has to happen. And I need us to understand why we have to be an action to make something happen. Then they could write about it, because they could say, this what happened. And somebody's left to tell about it. One or two people, however it go, somebody is able to tell a story and write about it. Now, you could depend, you can see what self you want to be, what part you want to play. Either you just want to do stuff and let somebody else write it, or you want to be the witness so you can see, and you want to be the one to write it down. I'd rather be the doer and somebody else write it down, because I'm ready to write stuff down and doing other stuff. Not everything. If you want to do something, everybody got a part to play, and everybody's not from here. Some of us know who we are, so we tapped in more than others. Some people, listen, ordinary people, please don't get upset with the people that was made to be extraordinary for the purpose of humanity. That is what it is. It's something to be thankful for. It's something to be grateful about. Thank you, Lord. I didn't know you can do that. Well, he said, whatever's loosed in heaven, how is it impossible that it's loosed on earth? Who will he have to choose to carry on? We are the generation of the Bible story. Okay, we continuing from Revelations, we just carrying on the legacy of our generation at this time where we at. They got generations the Z, Zen, Gen, whatever. I'm not all familiar with all of that, the terms. But what I am, let me tell you, that don't mean that I know everything. I understand how to explain a lot of things that needs to be explained. However, whatever it is that the Lord give you, that is why He gave it to you. I understand how and what it is to live a certain way according to the Most High. It's not my opinion. It's not a feeling. We can feel a lot of ways. We can choose to agree or disagree. You can do all of that. It doesn't deflect or take away the fact that whatever it is that the Lord said that how we supposed to live, or what the expectations, what He expects of us, why we go through the things we do, why do He let certain things happen, and why these things take place, even for myself. So I'm learning as I go. But I'm going to tell you, if you complete a cycle, and most of us did, when you complete a cycle, you see yourself graduating. Spiritually, mentally, you don't even know you're doing it spiritually because you need faith. Why? Because that's not physical. Okay? You need your own mental force, your own mental strength, and you need to know your own capacity. You should be able to exercise and determine everything about yourself. I don't know. I'm not, look, I'm 4'11", 4'10", 4'11", either way. I'm short, right? So it's me and my sister is the shortest too in my family. I'm the shortest one because I'm just 4. Everybody made it to 5. So what I'm saying is I'm part of the pick-me tribe, right? Because those are the little people. It doesn't matter. God got all types of hidden treasures hidden inside of all of us for those of us that want to believe it. Now, we got extraordinary, then we got ordinary. Ordinary people just follow along. You get along with this world society, the things that they tell us to do and what they want us to embed in our minds, that we only to live for this world. Now, I'm going to go back to why I say it's two. Is your God conscious self, which is our other half, where your mind tell you this is how your spirit knows better than you. Naturally, I'm saying to the people, even to the darkness, that because it's in us, it's not something that you can take away. It's something that either you're going to pick a side, and you're going to pick a side that feels more comfortable with who you line up to be in the inside, what makes you happy. So we got people that's very, we could say they're unhappy or whatever, but not everybody's meant to be nice. And some people you cannot be kind and hard, sweethearted to. Their spirit don't adapt to that. They're going to take it as a weakness. They don't know how to resonate with you, man or woman. Their spirits is not made to be peaceful. They would have to get to a place that life, after you do that and you see what it make of you, do you want to change and try another side of you? If the answer is no, then you pick what resonated with you. And whatever that means to somebody, that is what it is. I'm explaining. So nobody got to be confused. I'm going to try to explain to my best of my ability. Okay. So what I mean, when you pick a side, and you pick a side of you, because you got your earthling side, which is for this world. Okay. That means that for the ones that live for this world only. What it says, what it stands for, the churches, all kinds of religion, anything that it can draw it up and say, look, I gave you something. Look, my people, look, you can go to church, you could be a Muslim, you could be a Christian, you can be a hallelujah, you could be an atheist, you could be everything. Come here. This is what America is. It's a sin pool of everything that goes against your God-given self. But we're not going to say it like that. That's why we're going to help you to cripple your health. And we're going to do it with a nice way. We offer you candy and treats. We even got dentists. We show you nice things to clean your teeth. Now, Why they got all these things made up. Listen, that's not saying, oh, you saying not to go to the dentist? What about we need people like that. They help, they study to clean our teeth. That's, pay attention what I'm saying. They put everything in. We get to make a choice. Now, whoever's in your mouth, by their choice of who they choose to doctrinate, can you do a good action or a good deed? You can, on both sides. Can the enemy of God do a good thing? Do it serves a purpose? Yes. You know what? They gave to everybody. They made devices and all these things that they knew that would take us off track to a degree. Most of us, we stay in our phone, we losing more of interaction with each other. That is what we're supposed to do. We're supposed to be social. We're supposed to be social people, to socialize, interact, fellowshipping. That is true fellowship. Not going to church, not telling yourself you somebody's religion. I can't because that goes against my religion. Your religion is going to get you messed up. You will have to have something more than just a religion. If your religion is not a way of life, and that's not the way how you live, or is it going by principles of what you was taught? Listen carefully. If you was taught a certain way, and then it said from whatever your youth is and whoever taught you, the beginning of the Bible, okay, not just the beginning, the first half, the Old Testament, that is what this world function under. And when you watch the movies, Mississippi Burning, you got Poltergeist, not Poltergeist, not that one. The Exorcist. The Exorcist, the House on the Left, the People on the Stairs, all these type, not so much of them, but a lot of them is creepy. Anything that had the cross in it. Malcolm X. Every movie that had the cross. Do you know that it always got burnt? And in the white hats, the Ku Klux Klan would come out with that Bible. Some of them in the movie, they show you they got the Bible in their hand. They believe in the scripture because it tell you everything that goes against your God human rights. And that is the plan why they kept exercising, because the first half is what this world function under. Why do you think it's so much destruction? Why is it so much hurt? Why is it so much pain? Why is these people practicing? Why do they use dark magic and things like that and then tell you not to practice it? They've been doing rituals. It's rituals done in the Bible the whole time. They got seers that was there back in those times. They had people that knew how to levitate. They had magic. Listen, it's a lot of things that they don't talk about that exists, and a lot of ancient artifacts and technology. Most of those things still exist. Why is it not privy to us? Because they buried it and they covered up and they changed the landscape. So by the time by the time they take down buildings, they change it up, put new stuff. So we would never knew what we was born in, what was left for us. And they took it and hid it and they used it for themselves. Most of the stuff is in the Vatican. If the Vatican, the Romans, and the Greeks. This is what they say in the book. Unto the Romans and the Greeks. This is how they shape. They use their mentality to shape the world and confuse us for generations after generation after generation. But thank God for the Most High. Do you think that the Most High don't have a certain way or a timing by the generation that comes in to be able to take over? I got my ones. I already have my chosens. Now, chosens, we don't have to start out. It's not about, well, what makes a chosen a chosen? Good question. I didn't know. But what I did learn is I just knew to trust God. And even if I didn't know, knowing and unknowing, I believe that when you have a spirit already, that's already in you, you just kind of innately just already just know. You already got a sense that you're already born with what you're knowing, and don't really kind of understand why you know what you know. You just know. And if you know that you could not have gave it to yourself, that's the power of the Most High. That's something we can't give ourselves. We don't give ourselves the knowledge. We can't give ourselves wisdom. Not this worldly thing. People, please understand it is a difference. It's a difference from getting taught and being prepared and asking your child from the age, from the time they start to write their name, to find out which hand they want to write with. Is it going to be the left hand, the right hand? Oh, I wonder which one they're going to use. We can't wait to get to hear what they're going to sound like, to hear their first words. Everything's an anticipation for all the parents, and all, when I say parents, all guardians. It doesn't matter if you biological or not. If you have a pleasure that God, the Most High, gave you a pleasure of raising a child, whether it's yours or not, and you have, listen, people, this is, before I continue, let me just talk to the bad ones real quick. If you out there, what you are, fathers too, uncles, any caregiver of raising a child or being in a child's life, wrong or right, the child may be a little crazy, but if you get there in time, you can save that one's life. Now, how do you do that? Don't look at life as that's not my kid. Oh, I'm not doing that. That's not my son. Or women, be careful. Do not lie to the fathers or to the men to make them be there. Tell them the truth. Because if that man see that child, even for be careful, because some of y'all are crazy out there, and you make it difficult for a man to want to be a father or be around his child, and then deal with a crazy, simple-minded mother. Same thing as the fathers. Don't make it impossible for the mother to be a mother to her kid, or to allow you to be, if you're given a hard time. People, please don't use ourselves in relationships, or how the mother is, or what she did, and determine and to use that how you're going to be in your child's life. It is not fair. I'm talking from experience. So I'm telling you, and it is not. If the father don't get along with the mother, then you really don't want it to be in the child's life. As the child move on, the mother move on to somebody else. Fathers, it's not permissible, and this should not. I'm just saying, you do what you want, but I'm telling you it's the wrong way. It's going to hurt you later on in life. I promise you, it will. Overlooking your kid because the mother moved on, because whatever didn't work out between the mother and father. Do not neglect your child, even if they move on to someone else. Be a part of your kid's life. Make unit mothers, let the other person know that you're moving on to, that the person that sponsored this child is a part of this child's life. If the other man is a part of the child's life and they helped raise that kid and gave them a sense of stability, fathers, if you're not in your kid's life and another man is doing it, give thanks and appreciation, because you did not do it and you could not, or whatever the reason is. Pay homage to that man because he's doing something that it was your responsibility, but he picked it up because he saw that it needed to be done. This kid needs a father, needs somebody that's responsible to care for this life. If you don't see it in any way or any different other way, see it as that I got a chance to make a life to be better than mine. I can correct this child for correction. Now, parents and everybody, be careful, because it's two. It's people spirits of this world. Okay? You got worldly spirits that is not. You got, okay, so Satan rules this world down here. God laid down a foundation, which is everything that that man made cannot make. He did not plant these trees. He did not make the dirt. He did not make none of the different type of creepy crawly things we see in the dirt, the ants, the roaches, cockroaches, anything that you could think of. All of the above, God already made, right? The heavens, the moon, the stars, he did everything. That is the foundation. Satan came in down here because God said, okay, Satan wanted to be like the Most High. Whatever Satan is, how many of them? There's a few of them that had to come down here because they couldn't get their minds right. And he said, okay, listen, I got something. They wanted to be a God, but they wanted to be the God himself instead of God. And so I'm already in you. What do you need to want to be? God is already in me. He's in all of us. Why do I need to want to take over the power that gave everybody his power? Why do you want to dethrone the power that gave you life in the first place? That's like the child telling their parents, how our kids sometimes, if you got some, they'll talk to you in a way like they made you and they took care of you. I'm talking about for the good ones. I'm not talking about nobody. I'm just saying for the ones that raise their kids with principle, dignity, and pride, and nurture them. Good. It doesn't matter if you're biological or not. A parent is somebody that take their time to raise that kid, whether you're uncle, a cousin, anybody that's playing the role of inspiring and uplifting that child to the best of your ability. You are doing a God-given action. If you're responsible for that life and you're watching that seed grow, you poured into it, you wanted to see which way it could go. And if they was raised right, then they will stay with the knowledge and the spirit that was given to them so they can go off correctly. It is a privilege from the Most High to be able to have that ability to watch and be inspired and to watch that child grow and let them figure it out, and then you watch them go. You get them to grow, you take care of them, and then you let them go. When they're able to go and you let their hands go and you watch them fly. That's the same thing the Most High do to us. He raised us and he set us free, and he wants us to be. Remember everything that you remember of me. Can you remember what I taught you? Can you remember to emulate and example me? Children, this is why this country here don't got no goddamn principles. We don't have a tradition. Every tradition is welcome. Everything comes in. It's a big cesspool. You can have all kinds of parades for nonsense that goes against the God in you. They tell us they took the gods out to school. You can't pray no more. Oh no, because everybody got different religions, different beliefs. Everybody don't believe the same thing. So they took out the justice of the peace. That's what I call the justice of the peace. Because when you got prayer involved and you calling on the Most High, you used to pray at the table in the lunchrooms when you went to school outside of your homes. They took it out. Why? Because they don't want us to remember our home. Where's your home in you? How do you know about you? You just keep going. Life, the further you get, you're going to get closer and deeper with yourself. I'll explain what that process means in a minute. It is a privilege to be able to be mindful, to raise that kid with principles, morals, things that this world don't tell you about. It's not, look, when you go to school, it don't tell us nothing. Nothing. Not one thing about how to approach and deal with life issues, family things, and how to move in this life. It don't tell you none of that. What it will do. You was born here, it'll tell you to be a slave for the rest of your life. A slave mentality, a slave mind. When I say slave, and we think about, oh, you mean like being a maid and washing the floor and being on our knees? Your mind is encapsulated and don't even know it with fear and an unknowing a sense of self-worth. When you don't know yourself, you don't understand why you was made. You don't understand the purpose, why we have to live and be an example to live a certain way. Because unlike some of us, I care about the people that came before us. It doesn't matter if they didn't do it, if they couldn't fix it. What can we do? We're down here. What do we think then is the problem is as a people? Now, if we're not strong-minded enough to say we complain, we can say we don't like this, I don't like that, and we feel so powerless. And not just seeing a group, not a group, a nation of of people of ourselves that is so low on our heart chakra. Now, I'm explaining that too. We have to have love. That's the main ingredient. What you mean? That solves that goes into everything. What do love have to do with it has to do with every and everything. That is the main ingredient to the puzzle of this life. Because that's where the enemy cannot hurt you. If you have that and you learn that, what can it do? It doesn't matter how many people it gain up on you. It cannot hurt you if you have enough power of love inside you. You have to have enough to overstand the pain that comes against you. You want to know it. It's going to test because that's your heart. People want to drag it. They need something to infiltrate, to hurt, to break you down, to make you weak inside. If I hurt this one's heart, this is why our feelings get hurt. Because why? That's where the heart is. God damn, that's how we use our feelings. That's how we feel, right? So when I'm saying we use our heart, and this is why we get our hearts broken, why we get misled, because we kind-hearted, we see the good in everybody, and the people of the world, they see us as gullible. Oh, they stupid. And these are the people that use Bible scriptures as a way, and a lot of pastors know. That's why they need a lot of people, because they feed off of the energy. They get taught a certain way to trick us and then lie to us and say, I'm not your enemy. I'm a child of God. I'm in the house of the Lord. And say, yeah, that was a good sermon. Oh, pastor sung that under the bank or under the bench or whatever it is. I love my pastor. I had a good pastor too. As far as what he taught and the spirit that came off of him. He passed. He's over. Pastor McKay, Pastor Earl McKay. So I could shout out God of Prophecy Church. Okay? That was my church. I went there for like 10, 11 years, something like that. And so when God said no, and when he said it was when everything closed down. Nobody was going to church unless you went online. And that was in 2020. Okay? So this was the greatest reset of awakening for all those that were supposed to wake up. We did. All those that should have woke up and did not. They did not at that time. I'm not saying that means that everybody stayed asleep. I'm just saying everybody on different timelines. What do that mean? That means that everybody is on certain levels according to this world, poisoning, making our mind desolate, that we only can do whatever it is that has already been programmed, already laid out, that we have to do it a certain way. I took account of a lot of things that I don't like and that we all talk about. I don't know anybody that like to pay bills. I know people don't like to be behind, so we pay them. But what if you didn't have to pay them? Do you think you would not have more money left if we didn't have bills to pay? What you mean? Everybody got to pay bills. That is the point of why I'm saying it. Why would you want to? If you understand that, why am I paying for these people? They're disrespectful. They steal from us. They never give us all our money. We never could work a full pay to get all our money, even if you're doing overtime or you got 2 or 3 jobs, even if you want to hustling. That now when you hustle and it's not being taxed, then you get all your money. But once it's taxed, you're always going to get taxed. And then they got tax collectors in the Bible. So they always was looking for a way to make us do something that we didn't want to do, that we shouldn't have did. Now, I'm going to tell you, for some of the people that don't like to go back in history, we are all alienistic, if y'all like to use that term. I don't know what alien is, but I would just say it's not earthly. To make it make sense, if you hear me correctly, that's what it is. It's not earthly. It's otherworldly from other worlds. That could be Saturn. It Could be Jupiter. Could be even Mars. Could be Venus. Venus is our love planet, where we get our heart chakra from. Let me see something. Did I put it in here? So, okay. So our crown, our root chakra is red. That deals with a lot of things going on with our feelings, emotions, your self-esteem, your sex drive, all of those things down there can make you either horny or make you sick. You can feel a lot of things. Your sacral chakra. So the root chakra is what makes you your iron. The sacral chakra is so after red is orange. And that also determine your moods and feelings and different things like that. We should eat foods or wear clothes or colors or get stones that's associated with those colors to balance out our frequency and raise your vibration. Now, in order to raise your vibrations, when we say higher conscience, oh, I'm already on a different timeline. I elevated, right? So when you hear someone say that, please don't look at them crazy. Sometimes we can't explain everything or why we say the things we say and why we know the things we know. It's not crazy and it's not going against anything. It is a principle of knowing who you are. It's not something to put something down. It's telling you that the world tricked you and lied to you and told you have to do stupid ass things like take away your family and do blood rituals and you have to do strange things so you can maintain. Now, what did it do? It changed the order of you, your physical attribute of you. You're going to look like who you look like on the outside. How do you know you're walking up against, or if you're standing next to someone that's angelic? Do you think you have to look at them? Do they have to look and be in a certain thing or a certain way or to have a certain status? Maybe then a lot of us don't care about the world, what the world thinks, how it want us to be, and the things it want us to do in order to get something out of this life to keep ourselves happy. Okay, so your solar plexus is yellow. The heart chakra is I love. That's green. Now, you say, well, our hearts is red. What you mean is green? The aura surrounding that frequency is green. It radiates. I'm going to explain what I mean in a second. Then you got the throat chakra. I speak. The blue chakra is our throat chakra, which gives us our speech. It's blue. The aura of that color, the glow of it, that surrounds our voice box. The presence, the energy, the frequency that it gives off. I'll explain where it comes from in a minute. The third eye chakra, I see. It should be in the center where your third eye is. Now, why they call it third eye, I'll get back to that. It's purple. Okay? And the crown chakra is I understand, which is you can either choose to use overstand or understand is either gold or like a bluish type of hue, like indigo. Now, our planets give off a lot of these frequencies that allow us to be in our God conscious body. So the more those things are in line. Now, I'm going to tell you the quickest way and the shortest way, and everybody can figure it out for themselves. But if you listen to me, I'm not going to tell you nothing hard. I'm going to tell you the simplest way, and it's to exercise the ability of loving yourself entirely. That's the quickest way to get your chakras in line, and it will tell you what to do. It'll tell you what you need to eat. You're going to start moving. It's going to line you up to start looking into things, start researching, because now your mind is elevating. It's just going to do that. The more you're happy or in your spirit, not just happy. Happy is like a state of mind. Reminds me of a temporary fix. So what I'm saying is, the more you live in proud of yourself. Let's use this for example, so I don't go too deep to the spiritual side yet, because most people don't understand your physical side. Your physical side is your worldly emotions. Why we can't control a lot of things. Why some of us is good with our emotions, some of us is not. We have a fit, we have a breakdown. We want to fight. If somebody talk to us a certain way, you ready to pop off at the mouth. I'm gonna curse that B out. I'm gonna do this. What that nigga thought? Who he thought he was talking to? Yo, not me. If she wasn't a woman, I would have did this, or either she get her or whatever. What I'm saying is, those are fleshly, earthly parts of ourselves. Those do not allow us to line up with any of these 7 things. We have many more chakras. I think it's 117 or something like that. But the main 7 is the ones I just said. If you get these 7, then you can get the rest. I figured it out. Love yourself the way that God loved you, because God said, I chose you to be my best. If the Most High is all our best, now I'm going to tell you the difference. The God of this world lets you have same-sex marriages and let you be able to do all kinds of sexual crimes against children, crimes against humanity. They let you do all kinds of stuff, and then you get to pay. As long as you got the money, you need $5,000. I didn't know that it just took that least amount to be able to get into the end game. If you want, I'm talking about into the industry. The industry is the world stage. If you want to be with the elites, you want to get in, you ain't got to go to all a school. You just got to have a little cash, sell a little ass, do a little strange thing, have a little talent, something that they can use you for or exploit you for, and you in. That's enough to buy you a lawyer. That's enough to buy you into politics. You can get in. You know where I got it? I'm gonna tell you. I read the book of the pill horse, the pill white horse. You know what I'm saying. The book of the pill horse. Now, for some of us that did read it or did not read it, I'm gonna tell you, I read it. And I found it very interesting how they layered and built the foundation to keep us in crystal and capitalize, to belittle ourselves and never see ourselves as the other opposite side equal or better. Now, why did they use extreme brutal force to make us think that we were slaves and that's all we was, and we was picking cotton and we was serving a massa and mammy, and that's all we ever was, and that's where we came from? If you want to believe that illusion, I'm not telling us that we stupid. What I'm saying is, open our minds, to be open-minded, because a lot of us, let's think about it. If the enemy came to deceive and to trick the whole world, why do we not think that can be us that was deceived? Do you not think that they can't trick me. I wasn't tricked. I didn't go to their churches. I never bowed down to shit. We did not have to worry about doing the hard part that our ancestors did. I'm not saying it never happened. What I'm saying is that is not the beginning, and we always was not slaves, and we did not all come off some goddamn boat and was dragged around and sit somewhere. This is okay. So when they said we all come from the motherland, now Africa is the biggest continent, and country got the most countries and continents of all the world. So if that's true, then that means it populated the whole earth all over the world. That would have to make sense. If it doesn't make sense, then you can use your common sense to be common. Because common people don't think with sense. They think commonly like everybody else in the world, like to hear everybody else's opinion and say, yeah, we all, if everybody agreed to think the same way, that doesn't make you right. If somebody on the opposite side and it's one that got a different opinion or a different way, not just an opinion, but a different, another side to look at, that means they can see and understand both ways. Our brain is split in the middle, right? We have two sides, a left hemisphere and a right hemisphere. Within all those fractions, just out of the two, right, two halves, is intricate pieces in little compartments that's connected to every central nerve or function that's in our body. That's connected to every piece in our foot, and every string got a string that it connects to, and every part in our brain, on every side, got tiny pieces or bigger pieces that if you touch it a certain way, you stick something, or and you hurt yourself, or you get punched a certain way, and you get knocked against the shell that holds the brain in place. And it does that, and it gets damaged from the brain. Is a soft tissue that is a muscle that powers and fuels us within our own body, that give us the ignition, like you put the key in the car, or you hear the ignition, you turn it, and okay, our brain is that, and it fuels the whole body. That's why we have to sleep. That's why we need to rest, because we get rejuvenated the same way we charge our phones, and we put it in the wall or whatever it is to charge up. Your brain does that. You need two functions. Everything, people, is one and two. I learned that very simply by paying attention to life. And that's not like, wait a minute. Life is not hard. We make it hard because we choose to not to understand the actions that we take and the things that we believe will make life either work for us or not. One ingredient you need to have yourself, and you need to know why you, okay. So whatever it is that we want to do in this life, you need to have an understanding of who you are. You should. Not the things you do, not how many things you did wrong, not because you smoke crack, not because you got off track. Who are you, and what are you capable of doing? What's your capabilities? Because everybody don't have the same. Some people is more strong in their faith. They know, or they just are daredevils. They know how far to push themselves. They gotta be, their spirit is not made. Now listen, women, when we say we like rough riders, or men that say I like a little crazy in my life, I don't want no. I need my girl to be a little, off the line, where she's like, she don't take no stuff, and she'll like smack me upside the head every now and then if I go off track. Or she just, she got that mouth and she'll just go off. I like a little crazy. Okay. Whatever you like, men and women. Because a lot of women like, I like my man a little crazy. I like him like a thug. I like a street dude, not to be in the streets, but to have that, that aura. Me too. I like them too. At the time, I realized when you start to change and you elevate and you start really understanding what the Most High expect and what He don't expect, I got to sit with that one and told me some things. So I'm explaining it to you as it's given, as the way that I lived and how I learned what's not, because I did everything correctly. When we get out here, you got to test and taste everything that you want, that fits you, or something that tell you, I want to try that. So life is a big arena, and everybody got a part, and you can find whatever you want to find in this life that you like, and things that you tried. Like, yeah, I don't want to try that again. If you went scuba diving, and you like, okay, I don't like that, to be in the water with the sea creatures. I'm glad I did it. I don't ever want to do that again. It kind of creeped me out or whatever. So you get to do things. Why? So you can have a choice to say if you like something or not. So you can see if that's what you like about yourself or something that inspire you, did it turn you off. This is the lessons that we're supposed to live in this life. Not buying everything, not paying everything, not charging for everything. We shouldn't be paying for lights. People that got to pay for electricity for the people in the projects, they did it right. You wasn't supposed to pay for a goddamn thing except for keeping or buying the clothes that you want to put on your body, the things you want to put in your house. You understand what I'm saying? Like, you go shopping, you buy clothes or whatever it is, your furniture. If you got a business, you put into that. You pay for certain things. You understand? But I'm talking about forest living. It is backwards to make us pay for something that God already made happen, and it's natural, and it can fuel light for everybody. If they did it, do you think we need to pay for something that is already here, already made natural? No, they found a way. From the beginning of the Bible is the Old Testament, is what they function and what they govern this world on. And who they said? The Jews, the Romans, and the Greeks. This is their doctrine. This is their teaching. So if those are the ones that deceive the whole world, it said we don't wrestle against flesh and blood, right? You're not wrestling physically. We're wrestling with the spirit that houses that body mentally. That mindset, that spirit inside that being. You cannot look at somebody to tell, oh, that's a chosen, or that's a nobody. That look how they look. Whoa, they look like this. Oh, that's a bum. He can't save nobody. What wisdom would they have to use? If you look at people as being funny looking instead of listening to a message, if the message is nothing, and they just talk, and you got to use discernment in life. It's called use discernment. It means that you need to be able to discern if this. Let me see if this is right. Should I listen to this person or not? Is they telling me something that I can use that's going to help me in life? Would this person ever tell me something wrong? For people, if you get someone that, how you know you got good people in your life, not just good, but people because good is an action, and it's kind of like mediocre to me. So I'm just trying to find a different word to use, because good is an action. Anybody could be good. Anybody could save somebody. Right? It doesn't matter if you serve the world or you serve the Most High. You can be both sides. You can do something good and still do something that's incredibly wrong to someone else. Okay? So it's not an action about being good. Your spirit needs to be centered. If that spirit is centered, it would never hurt another being. Why? Because it's not in it's not in their DNA. It's nowhere in their order to deceive or to hurt. Why? Because they seen a lot of that happen. That person had to been an observer. That person had to been knocked down by life. Things had to happen to that one. Things that child put themselves into a situation where they could have been in harm's way, but for God's grace, that one was covered. So they got to watch and see if they had children, had siblings, and you watch them, and you watching. If you were a child that had your parents had a lot of kids, and 7 or more, my mom had 5. So if the ones that you watch before you, and then before it gets to your time, you gotta actually understand that if they actions and you watch how they get reprimanded by their parent. Now, if you had a disciplining parent, I had those. Now, whatever my story is, however, is a lot, but I'm going to tell you what I know from the basics of growing up. That I grew up okay. I'm not saying I didn't have problems or troubles, but I can't say I wasn't any physical harm that I was actually visually. Now that I can visually remember. And some things I may not be able to remember as young, 3 and 4 or 2. I remember being, I remember being 1. I remember a lot of things. Maybe not every situation or everybody that I ever talked to in life, or everything that somebody ever said to me since the beginning of my birth. Do I remember all those intricate little small details. No, but I remember a lot of things that when I go back, I could remember being one. I could remember being, I said, well, I want to see how far back I could go. You are your own God. You have to tell yourself what you want so you can speak it into the universe. If it lines up, then the Lord will let it will be permitted. Or sometimes it's given to you and you just have to just be your own witness. Now, what if you witnessed something that was given to you and they said, well, how did you know? Now, other people could know it. That doesn't mean there's other scholars or people that don't know what you know. But how did you get to know? Because those people that knew it already didn't tell you. They didn't teach you. So how did you know? If you get something that the Lord gave to you and you didn't teach it to yourself and you just know something, you cannot give credit to yourself, backwards minded people. I don't mean to offend anybody, but I got to say that because that means that you still give credit to the higher power that you can't give to yourself. Now, you got the God of this world. And a lot of people in our family is two spirits that ever existed. I don't care from the beginning of time to the same time as this time. That's why God is always the same all the time, back then, always in and within. That's why we the same as the creator. What the creator said to create. What do? We supposed to create our thoughts into a reality, not pay for things, not go and look and sign the book, whatever it is. I'm not saying to everybody to jump off the line, don't work a day in your life. I'm not saying that. What I am telling you, because this is what it is in this life, so we can survive. But I'm gonna tell you, you survive all for the Most High's way. And he said, take me everywhere so I can be everywhere you at. Everywhere anyway in you. You didn't need to go to a church that has a house hat that has a triangle on it and it says this is God's house. You don't need to go in the square and meet up with a bunch of people and say, well, I'm fellowshipping with God. That is not where God is at. God is already in us. I'm saying the principle of we all gather, but we gathering around for something that was telling us that we didn't need to do in the first place. I didn't know, so I did it. So I got to tell you, you cannot learn something if you didn't experience it. You can't be a teacher until you was a student. So you have to learn. You have to be willing to sit and watch, be part of, feel everything. So that's what I did. I felt myself just like everybody as people. Because I thought about if I'm looking at someone, whether they tall, high, low, or whatever they is, that could be me. Especially for someone that looks unfortunate in a certain situation or whatever. Like I was judged. People judge because they look at what you will never be. And then they got the nerve to do things to a person and make their life difficult from the background where you can't see. And then they look at your life, oh, what's going on? You having a hard time. And knowing the whole time they part of the hard time that you have it. And you will never know. So people pay attention. It's two spirits in this world, and that's it. And you better find out which one you are. And if you are God or Satan for this world, that do crooked things, whether you signing, whether you speaking or lying. Let me see something. Galatians. Because people need to know certain things that we should not do. And if your spirit has any of those things, Satan can use you because you're worldly. If you care about this world, the things that people, the name brand or what you wearing, is that Donna Cameron, where you shop at, girl, or homeboy, where you shop at, where you get those kicks from? I'm not saying we can't look nice, but if you are looking nice all for the price of somebody else's name that don't care nothing about you and they don't even wear their own shit, they just do it because they know that we're stupid enough as melanated people to go and spend more money that we don't have so we can prove that we got something. Because everything I remember being in school as a kid, everybody, you see this watch, this costs more than everything you got on your whole body. My sneakers cost more than anything you bought in your whole house. And people would use these things to put each other down. So think about where that came from. That's my son. So nothing is off script. You see him? Well, they can hear you. And you're walking around. So yeah. Why don't you close the door? Okay, so I don't know. I'm just a raw filter. I don't have to be perfect. I'm not here to pretend about nothing. Your own logic and the things you go through in this world tell us who we are by the things we can afford and who we want to please. That is called a people's pleaser. Okay? If you're a person that care about pleasing people in this world and you care about what other people think, how much keeping up with the Joneses and looking in and getting your body snatched so you can, it's not wrong with doing those things. I'm just saying, if you want to do it, do you do it with a conscience of this body belongs to the Most High, gave this body to me? That means it's precious. And I didn't think that. It didn't click. As even if it was being said, God said, I gave you my best. I made you for me. Yeah, Satan is trying to distract you because it needs to see, I'm going to test you. That's what the Lord do. He tests us to see our loyalty. Now, nobody should be calling another parent somebody else if that the Most High took care of us. He gave us life. He give us death, whatever it is, and give us all in between. He is our faith keeper. He makes sure he supplies all our needs. Whatever our needs are, we have different ones, and he supplied them. I don't care if you're sick, mental, wherever you at, mentally retarded, sane, or strained, or whatever it is, he got something to feed that spirit, to give you what you need to sustain. If it's not meant for you to go nowhere, even if you got no limbs, but you got a spirit, your spirit said, I'm not ready to leave from here. You would have to be somebody in yourself to have something greater than your physical can do. You would have to have your inner self where the strength is at. When you have that whole strength and refine that, then you are your whole self. That means that you are healed. You're not damaged and held on to the things of the world that encapsulate our minds and our families and made them think a certain way, because we got all different personalities and we got different beliefs and we feel different types of ways. So it make us react foolishly in some cases. In most of cases, it does. I did it. I fought so much in my younger part of my life. So when I grew up early and I learned some valuable things and I paid attention to what was my station in life. When you're doing a certain thing, it tells you what you're good at in life, what you're naturally, if you can hold a lot of things. I didn't see myself as a multiple type of person, but I saw it in others. I saw it in my mom. I thought that she was the most amazing, and she still is, because she still is a force in nature. I knew that she can yell her force. She's a defender. So everybody get to find out what they are. But let me just say it like this. If we care about the things of the world, what people care about, who we know, because that's what it tells us. It's not what you know, it's who you know. Right? If you could get a seat at the table and you can rub elbows with the big fellas that can make shit happen for you, that's a power. It is a force. It is. You know what I'm saying? So I can understand why politicians want to get with certain ones and get with certain lawyers, and you get to know certain people, and those people get so excited and they get the biggest head and they get the most biggest God complex of all times, because this world said, you got power if you know people like me. I sit in a higher seat. I can speak to the president. I can get close. I can almost, but I got some type of weight. I may not have that weight, but I got some weight. I can connect lawyers, politicians, practitioners. I can, the ones that do creepy things. And if you need some little paperwork to get signed off, and I got somebody that's in the court, all I need is a stamp. And then I got somebody that do, what's that thing they tell us to do when you got to get a, notarized. I got the thing to get notarized, and that's bull crap too. But hey, that's something to make money off of, because you get that little stamp. That little stamp sells a lot of things. It don't tell you nothing. It just tell you how you can get paid. And if you say, yeah, I witnessed this person sign something in front of me, whether you didn't or not, because you stamped it and the stamp says that's what it symbolizes or represents, it's going to get through. Now, think about all the cricket people that do things legally illegal. They go through the proper channels, but not properly, because it's illegal, because it's not them they're not the right people. They're using that to get over. And then you got crooked people that know that. But because they getting paid off for it, this world is the opposite of our heart chakra. Why they use money? Why is money green? Because they know that if I change your heart and I use the money as the same spirit of your heart and I trade you, you'll lose the spirit that God gave you and you'll represent me. And it made you other than yourself, but worldly for them. And you'll see why you have the spirit of greed. That's where it comes from. So when we caring more about how we look, for who we want to look good for, and how well you can grind your hips, and how well you can use your lips. Half of the men, you looking at these women, you are not paying attention. Wake up, because it's two spirits. And if you don't have the God of love in that person, in that man or that woman, you're going to have a rude awakening. And that person is going to gear your life. And sometimes, yes, because they worldly, somebody needs to be able, we all are. We start off that way. It's not saying I was never was and I got it. No, we all, it's just that I've been awoken. So I'm up. Now I can tell you how we was able to go astray. Why was it easy? Why do we ask all these questions that we don't understand? Why is it so hard to figure out why life is a certain way? I don't understand why my life is this way. And why God let this happen? And how come he didn't take and do something? People actions did things. You have to show the people of the world when their spirit is filled with worldly and they're not in control of their temperament. When we don't know how to control our emotions, when we don't look at, should I kill this man because he took something from me, or this woman, or she slept with somebody, I'm mad, and you go do something to that man or to that woman, you end up in one of the traps that they have for us. Is that something that the Most High did, or is that something that we decided to do? I chose, well, I thought I cared about her, or I cared about him, and I didn't like that girl, or whatever. If your mind's for women and men, if you don't have no self-worth, and if you're chasing after a man and you're willing to hurt a woman, another woman, or any woman, or a man is willing to hurt a woman or over another man, or to hurt that man over a woman, you're hurting your own selves. And these people is worldly, and this is the things they care about with their emotions. It doesn't give them self-love. It doesn't give them self-control. This world will tell you how to be with all our emotions because it doesn't help us to learn that about ourselves. It tells us to go outside of that. And then they say, if you got a Bible, most people don't even read it. They don't. And if you can't read it because I don't really understand what it's trying to say. Okay, now, guess what? You're going to go back in the world, and the world going to tell you why you're even more confused because you didn't know how to read the book. Read the parts. It got good stuff in it. All Psalms, if you didn't know nothing, all Psalms is the book of prayer and strength and hope. I don't care what Psalms it is. If I ain't know nothing else, that's what I did. I read the book since I was my teenage years. Once I became a mother, I prayed earnestly, and life did not stop attacking me. I stayed in that book. I read Psalms 23. And that was my protection. If you don't know anything, a lot of things, and you can't remember a lot of scripture, find something that speaks to your situation. Learn that and use that. Memorize it, and then watch life happen for you. You have to believe the words is telling you, not to read it. Now, a lot of people read. You got the pastors and stuff. They know which book and verse to go to. But when they know how to explain why it works for you, why you got to believe it, and let it be a good attribute of you. Now you can pick the God of this world. They got they got it. The First Testament teaches about all kinds of nonsense. And in the beginning of the book, they started off with a lie. They just completely, and nobody really questioned things that should be questioned. For people that go to church, ask your pastor. I'm not going to tell you not to go. I'm just telling you what the Lord told me because you're not there. I need to be everywhere where something is not controlling my mind and telling me I need to put something in the basket, my first fruit and all of that. Because that's going to get you your blessings. No, you know what get you your blessings? You ask the Lord, Lord, you know, on my needs, I'm in trouble. I need this, I need that. If you don't know how to say that, do you think that the Lord is real, don't know what situation you're in after he made us? He's looking to see who's going to call on me, who's going to have faith to wait on me. If you ask me and you know that I can do it, we do have to ask. Now, for a lot of us that understand how the spiritual world works, the spiritual realm, it is not a spook. It's something that they didn't want us to know, okay, about ourselves. That whatever is in the spiritual realm, they got caught. Like how they got down here. You see the pyramids, how they got the bottom. You could be a caseworker, you could be a cop or whatever, and then you graduate. You could be after being a cop, you could be a commander of chief, or and then you be a something, and then you could get to be a CEO, and then you can run a business, and then you get an organization, and then within that organization, you get to fund the whole goddamn world, where you get the TV, and you get, you know, you sponsor those, and then you get places like the hospitals and things like that. That's a big industry, right? It's a killing machine. You can make a lot of money, and they license to kill, just like the cops. Those two right there is a few of them. In the army, the ones that's able to have firearm, they are licensed to kill in the flesh. Now, while everybody's thinking about slavery and how we would sell off the boats and all of that stuff, think about, why did they beat us when we have nothing? If we have nothing, right? We don't own the stuff that they own, the guns, to make liquor, all the things that can harm us, cigarettes, everything we can name of, right? All the stuff that they put out, cocaine, the drugs, and it's flooding, and where we get it from? We didn't fly it in. We didn't do nothing. We got a little piece of hanging around with the people that's cool with the get down, right? And then we have people in the neighborhood that play the Godfathers, and it was pretty good. So they people in took care of their neighborhood and the people in it. The thing is, when you're selling something back to yourselves from the crippled people that crippleize us in the first place, and because we want to be like them, and be like, well, I'm a boss. I'm not going to snort and get messed up. I see what they do. I'm just going to sell it. Who are you selling it to? I'm going to sell it to my own people. When we don't understand how we are part of our own demise, more than a white man, or that we want to use a white color and say, well, they built the foundation, they made us this way. Their spirits is indoctrinated to take us away from each other. Why? Because those are not the original ones. Listen, let me try to back it up a little bit, see if this makes sense. It probably won't, but I'm explaining it anyway. It'll make sense to the ones that it makes sense to. We come from a otherworldly type of race. Now, you could say aliens, an alien, or whatever you want to call it, the UFOs. Those are beings. Those are beings like us. You see how we beings? We beings too. They are intelligent race that we come from, and they watches over us to see what's going on down here. So if it was a missile, if it was something that was supposed to categorize or destroy the whole earth, do you know they got weapons on there that can dismantle, and they know how to speak to us on our whatever device that they make? Do you think that God didn't make a power with the technology of the minds that we came from? They can't reach us through whatever technology that was made from man's hand, and said, this is God made this. We are all gods. We are. That's why we create or invent things. We are supposed to use our minds in that way. To snatch something, or to steal, or to look, or whatever. I'm saying that's the order of it. We're supposed to use our mind to create. It means you think, you have a thought, you get a vision. Now you see the picture. Now you're ready to write it down or to draw it out. That's your blueprint. Your blueprint you already seen. First of all, you got an inspiration, you got a thought, and then you get the thought, you see a vision. And then what you do with the thought and the vision. Now you see the picture. What do you do when you see a picture? Most people, when we got a coloring book and you see the picture, hold on.